You already know what it is. It's your boy Lightwalker X here, back with another video. It's going to be a quick one, and Billboard just announced their top charting songs for the year, top charting albums, pretty much all the metrics that the fans have been waiting for. I thought a Drake fan cosplaying as a fake hip-hop page said something. They was saying hip-hop was dead. Kendrick Lamar in specific killed hip-hop, which makes no sense. I never really understood any of that because, to be honest, how could you blame one artist for the entire industry not putting out good music? But nonetheless, whatever. They're going to say whatever they need to say. You know, it's all cope. But to start, look at what Hip Hop All Day has said here. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us was the most streamed rap song worldwide on Apple Music in 2025. It's the first rap song to hold this title in back-to-back years on the platform. Would you look at that? A song that wasn't even released in 2025 is the top rap song on Apple Music in 2025. And to tell you the truth, we knew Not Like Us wasn't going to go anywhere based on how big it was in 2024. But all the antics that Drake continued to do throughout 2025 is the main reason, I'm telling you, why this song continues to be where it is. If he continues these antics, people are just going to continue to play the song. People are going to go back and listen to the song out of spite, or because the song just hits better now with all the antics you're doing. You're keeping the song alive single-handedly, and that's why it ain't going nowhere. Now let's go to this. Billboard's top 10 hot rap songs of 2025. And this chart is pure Kendrick Lamar, which is crazy to see, but this is dot era personified. We got number 1, Luther, with Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Shout out to SZA. We got number 2, TV Off, Kendrick Lamar and Lefty Gunplay. Shout out to Lefty Gunplay for getting on the top 10 rap songs of 2025 for a song that was released in 2024. Isn't this crazy? All these Kendrick songs are all 2024. He himself has not released anything singly in 2025. So this is a statement that these songs were still able to stay high up on the charts. And a reminder to everybody, the GNX songs did release during the November-December season of 2024. So that's Christmas song time. And he was still able to be high on the charts during that time and then till now. So would you look at that? Shout out to Lefty Gunplay getting that number 2. We got Not Like Us, number 3, of course. Squabble Up, number 4 by Kendrick Lamar. I kind of thought that would be a little higher, like maybe where, Not Like Us or TV Off is, but hey, it's all Kendrick all day. We got number 5, Nokia with Drake. Number 6, All the Way, Big X the Plug. We got Sticky from Comacopia, Tyler the Creator, Glorilla, Sexy Red, Lil Wayne. Yeah, every now and then I still revisit that song, so it's crazy that that's in the top 10. Shows you how big that song went and how big Chromacopia was for Tyler the Creator, which was also released in 2024. After that, we have What You Know About Me, Glorilla and Sexy Red. Of course, Glorilla has been making these lists for the last couple years, so we got to give her some credit, and I do believe she is nominated for another Grammy this year, so shout out to Glorilla. And then number 9, Peekaboo, Kendrick Lamar and AZ Chike. This is an amazing look for AZ Chike. He does have an album coming out on the way, so that's going to be wicked for him too. He's been able to ride the wave that GNX put out for him, and then obviously build onto that to further cement his career going into this next album release that he's going to be putting out. So I'm happy for him. Shout out to him. Peekaboo is one of my favorites from the album. I'm glad to see that it still made the top 10. And then we got Denial is a River, Doechii, right? Obviously, she dropped the video in the beginning of the year. Her album went massive this year. She dropped Anxiety this year. So it makes sense that Doechii's on the list. But this is an amazing list, right? We got 2 TDE artists, 1 formerly on TDE. So technically 3, I guess you could say. But Kendrick, obviously, PG Lang now. 3 TDE artists on this chart. And then we got, obviously, Tyler the Creator representing the West Coast as well. So it looks like they did pretty good. Half of the chart is Kendrick Lamar. But here's the proof. When we say dot era, this is exactly what we mean. And then now we also have the Billboard 2025 end of the year charts for top R&B and hip hop albums. And would you look at that? SOS by SZA is number 1. Isn't that crazy? An album that came out, I think, about 3 years ago is still number 1. Now, she did drop the deluxe album, the Lana album in 2024. So that obviously boosted the album's success. But the Lana album was good too. And then when you look at everything all together, it's an insane body of work that she was able to put out there. So not a surprise, especially since the singles on the SOS album already before she even released Lana were doing really good. But that's not a surprise. It's just insane that it's still at number 1 3 years later. You can't deny SZA's success and impact. And And then look at that, GNX number 2. Are we surprised? No. I felt like it would have been either GNX or SOS because I already knew SZA's album has been doing this every year. So it's not really a surprise. She's been in the top 10s, but now, she's number 1. And then we got GNX Kendrick Lamar number 2. Would you look at that? He still didn't release this album in 2025. This came out in 2024. So that's a feat in itself. Next, we have Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator. Pretty good project. I know he did drop Don't Tap That Glass this year, but Chromacopia has a 100% carried him into the position to be able to even drop an album like Don't Tap That Glass because the wave, the tour, the whole era, the aesthetic, everything Tyler put into that really paid off in his benefit. And you can also see it within the sales as well. Then, of course, we have Some Sexy Songs for You by Drake and Party Next Door. And I find it kind of ironic that, that we have Nokia on some of these streaming song lists, but no song by Party Next Door himself or no song by Party Next Door, period, on the list, despite making the song with, like, air quote, the biggest artists in the world, right? So that's kind of strange to me, but all right, it's fine. We do then have Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd. Shout out Abel. Hurry Up Tomorrow was a wicked project and 100% did get snubbed by the Grammys. I don't know what's going on over there, but that's like the one thing I completely disagree with. Like, you're not even putting Timeless as a Grammy nomination. Crazy, but wicked project by The Weeknd. I mean, The Weeknd is Canada's biggest artist of all time and one of the biggest artists, period. So you have to show some respect. And he's been putting up these numbers like it's easy. We then got Music by Playboi Carti, which is expected, right? Obviously, Music was a big album, and literally it was a big album. He had 30 plus songs on the album, but it was a moment. It was one of the few big hip hop moments of the year. So of course it makes sense. And, he also had a good amount of good features on the album. So that for sure helped carry its weight as well. We then have Take Care by Big X The Plug. Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City on here as well. Now, the longest charting studio hip hop album of all time being on this list, not really a surprise. Then we got Take Care by Drake, probably the last album I think all around really liked by Drake. Not surprised either because obviously it's his back catalog that is going to carry him forever. It's not this new stuff. Don't listen to what any of these people tell you about the first weeks. It's his back catalog, and it makes sense. Take Care arguably is his greatest album, right? So that is going to continue to stream on these lists, and it's still performing well all these years later. And then we have Last Lap by Rod Wave. So this is a pretty interesting list. I didn't have any doubts that Kendrick would come out on top of this list, but just interesting to see because the narratives that they were painting up until now. Oh, hip hop is dead, hip hop is ruined, it's not on the charts, this and that. If you want hip hop to actively be on the charts right now, you need to tell all these rappers and other artists to drop better music because that's the only way it's gonna get there. As you can see, Kendrick and Drake, whether it's new or old stuff, they're still gonna chart, right? But everyone else still has to figure out what the hell is going on and what the consumers want. Don't blame it on one artist just because he beat your favorite in a rap battle. Let's not be pathetic. It's still early in the week, guys. All right, so it's very interesting all around, but it's dot era. It's dot era. And I'm sorry if that pisses you off, it pisses you off, but this is more than enough proof. And he's still continuing the tour. That's about to continue tomorrow with the Australian leg. I'll be live streaming that, by the way, so stay tuned. And who knows what is going to happen in 2026, what's in store for the GNX tour or the era. Is it going to be done? Is he going to do more shows, or is he going to start a whole new rollout for another project in 2026? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I also did get my 2025 recap for my top artists and top songs. And long story short, I got Kendrick Lamar again at number 1. Obviously, I think he's always been my number 1 most played artist. As long as they've been counting these replays and stuff like that, he's always been my number 1. But number 2, I had Clips. Obviously, I was playing Let God Sort Him Out so much this year, but I even just, before the album came out, I even went back to listen to old Clips music just because I was just in the mood. You know what I mean? So I've just been running up their catalog, and that makes sense why they're number 2. Number 3, Playboi Carti. To tell you the truth, I've never had Playboi Carti in the top 5. Ever for me personally, you know what I mean, in terms of music streaming at the end of the year. Now, I have some of Cardi's songs before, but I was kind of more of a fan of the Cash Cardi wave, you know what I mean, that Magnolia era, the gothic stuff and all that. After that, it wasn't really for me, and I never really listened to those albums. I never listened to a whole lot of Red like that, you know what I mean. But music, it was turning up to be a moment. I wanted to check it out, and I actually did like a good amount of songs on music, and good credit being the main one, because I played that song non nonstop. So I'm not even surprised. But yeah, that makes sense. Then we got Pusha T, obviously, for number 4 because, right, you know, Pusha T, I was listening to his catalog separately as well during that time when Let God Sort Him Out dropped. So makes sense why he's on the list. And SZA, you know, I be listening to a lot of R&B, a lot of pop music, but because of Lana, because of, I guess, you know, some of the other songs I was listening to a lot of old SZA music this year too. I don't know why. It's just sometimes I just get in the mood and I want to listen to specific music that kind of brings me back to a certain era. And, you know, when SZA was dropping her earlier music back in the day, like 2012, 13, 14, that was a cool era for me. So I remember listening to her a lot back then. And, you know, I went and revisited some of those older projects. So, you know, that's probably why she's on this list here. But then I go to my top songs. I got Good Credit, number 1. I told you I replayed the hell out of that song. I got Squabble Up, number 2. Probably one of my favorite songs on GNX. It might be tied with Reincarnated. But yeah, Squabble Up for sure. I streamed the most out of Squabble Up. I'm convinced it was me. Ace Trumpets, obviously. That was probably one of my favorite songs off Let God Sort Him Out. But Mike Tyson, Blow to Your Face. Obviously, Ace Trumpets came out first, so I was playing that a lot more. Hey Now from GNX, Kendrick Lamar, come on, that beat's disgusting. You know, they did their thing. I use YouTube Music, guys, so this was pretty much the Untitled 5 remix that I listened to. You know, the new Untitled beat that they put onto the Untitled 5 lyrics. I've just been listening to that ever since I've been seeing all the edits online and TikTok and stuff, so I was bumping the hell out of that. But then it made me go back to the Untitled Unmastered album and just listen to the originals. I'm like, oh my God, this guy was ahead of his time. So pretty interesting year in terms of music that has released. But, you know, my top 5s, they don't really change. You know, sometimes I'll have a Travis in there, you know, sometimes I have a J. Cole in there, you know, but they didn't really drop music that I would listen to like that this year, if not anything, right? So sometimes my lists shift, but they normally stay the same between who's in there and stuff like that. You guys let me know. Did you guys get your replay? Who was in your top 10, top 5, best albums, best songs, whatever it may be? And what do you think of the Dot era and Kendrick's chart success at the end of this year and what it means for him going forward into this new era that is possibly on the way? You guys let me know down below what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Hit that bell for notifications. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Stay blessed and stay tuned.